How's it going, YouTube? My name is Duncan. Tonight we're in my camper and I'm going to show you how I make English muffins from scratch using my homemade sourdough starter. Now, to make these English muffins you have to start a night ahead of time. I'm going to start tonight with 275 grams of all-purpose flour. Go into a bowl with 250 grams of milk and 135 grams of my homemade sourdough starter. Scrape that in. With all of your ingredients in the bowl, go ahead and give it a mix. When your ingredients have come together like this, it's time to stop mixing and go ahead and cover it lightly with some plastic wrap or in a plastic bag and leave it out on your countertop overnight. Hopefully the sourdough starter should make it nice and bubbly, and we will have a nice and active sponge ready for use to make English muffins tomorrow morning. Alright, good morning. We are back to look at our sponge. Look at that. It has doubled in size. It is nice and active, and we are ready to start making English muffins. In addition to last night's sponge, I have a sheet tray covered liberally with cornmeal. I have 85 grams of all-purpose flour. I have 15 grams of sugar. I have 5 grams of baking soda and 5 grams of kosher salt. Let's go ahead and take these ingredients and get them added into a large bowl. Let's go ahead and get them all incorporated into one another. Now let's take our sponge from last night and go ahead and get it added into the mix as well. Go ahead and mix that all up. Some of this might be easier to do with a hand. Once your dough has come together and there's no loose bits of flour in the bowl, go ahead and roll it around, and then we'll just dump it out onto the surface. Now, we're going to begin kneading for about 3 minutes. You'll see that as I'm kneading this dough ball, it's coming together and building up the gluten. Alright, so I've kneaded this dough ball for about 3 minutes now. You can see when I poke it, it doesn't keep an indent, so it's got nice tight gluten structure. At this point, we're going to go ahead and let this sit for about 5 minutes. Now that our dough has rested for about 5 minutes, you can see it's holding the shape of my finger now, which means that gluten structure is ready to be stretched. So we're going to take this nice rolling pin, we're going to roll it out to about 3/4 of an inch thick. So we're going to flour our rolling pin, get our surface nice and floured, get a little on the dough ball, get it up off of the surface, and then I'm going to go ahead and roll it out to about 3/4 of an inch thick. Now that I have attained the thickness that I want, I'm going to take a biscuit cutter that is lightly floured. And I'm going to begin to cut out my English muffins. First one. Once they've been cut, go ahead and transfer them onto the cornmeal lined baking sheet from earlier. My English muffins have now been cut, and they are sitting in proofing bags for the next hour to hopefully double in size and then be ready to cook. So we've waited about an hour now. Our English muffins are nicely risen and ready to be cooked. I have a cast iron skillet that I have been preheating for the last 5 minutes over low heat. It is nice and warm and ready to go. So we're going to go ahead and remove our English muffins. We're going to start placing them on cast iron griddle with the cornmeal side down. As these guys start to poof up, we can just take our fingertips and lightly give them a turn. Sometimes you can get in there with the spatula and make sure they're separate. Make sure that they're cooking evenly across the bottom. As they start to move about a little bit more freely on the skillet, you're going to want to take your spatula and flip it over. Take a look at the bottom side and see where you need to reposition it to get it to cook the most evenly. Ooh, look at that. This guy is actually ready to go ahead and just be flipped onto its top and give it a little bit of time to brown there. Make sure you keep turning the English muffins like you did on the bottom side. Take a look at the top side. It's a beautiful color. I'm going to go ahead and take it off the heat. Beautiful. Awesome. This guy still needs a second longer. It's okay, we'll leave him there. And we can go ahead and start transferring on more of our raw English muffins to get them cooking as well. And just keep making sure that everybody is nice and free moving on the skillet. You might find that you'll get a buildup of excess cornmeal on your skillet, and if you want to avoid smoking up your kitchen, you should probably go ahead and dust off whatever excess you have there so that it doesn't burn. I now have 10 perfect English muffins. Nice crisp bottom, beautiful brown tops. Absolutely wonderful. Since these just came off of a hot cast iron skillet, we're going to go ahead and let them sit and cool. Once they've reached a room temperature, they'll be good to eat. Alright, well that does it for how I make homemade sourdough English muffins. If you're interested in seeing how I'm going to use these English muffins, you should like, subscribe, and watch my next video. I'll see you guys next time.